If you've been watching my videos for a substantial amount of time, you should know by now that I take a specific interest in the topic of abortion. It is something I am extremely passionate about, and because of this I like to keep track on what's going on around the world with pro-life versus pro-choice issues. I especially like to keep track of what kind of legislation pro-lifers are trying to get passed. This is how I recently came across a new piece of legislation that has made it to ballot in Colorado, USA, known as Amendment 62. It is an extreme anti-abortion law being championed by a group called Personhood USA. They are also pushing this amendment in 40 different states around the USA. This amendment is so extreme because it would literally put an end to all abortions, whether it was in the case of rape, incest, the mother's life being at risk, or the fetus being severely disabled. It is so extreme that even many pro-lifers are not supporting this new piece of legislation. This legislation would literally give a fertilized egg the full and legal rights of a born person. The full legal rights and protection of a born person to a fertilized egg. At the point when a sperm meets an ovum, that would be classed as a person. Under this law, many different areas of reproductive rights would be affected. In contraception, you would not be able to use anything other than barrier methods. IUDs, the morning after pill, the contraceptive pill would be illegal. They would be classed as murder under this new legislation. Stem cell research would be completely illegal. If you wanted to have in-vitro fertilization because you couldn't conceive naturally, the chances of you getting this under this new legislation would be slim to none, as during IVF, many of the embryos created are never actually implanted. They are instead destroyed. That is classed as mass murder. Under this legislation, you would literally be able to be forced to have a cesarean section against your will if the doctors believed it was in the best interest of your fetus. We have seen this happen in states where personhood legislation has been implemented. This legislation is completely insane and it is dangerous, to say the least. Now, I am not completely delusional. I know the chances of this legislation being passed and actually making it into law are slim to none. Again, they tried this in 2008 and it didn't work then. So the chances of it working now are very slight. But the fact is that it's legislation like this that shows just what many pro-lifers think of when they think of women. They literally do not give a shit about women, and I've said this time and time again. They do not care about women. All many pro-lifers want to do is to make women slaves to their reproductive system, and it's legislation like this that perfectly demonstrates that. I have put a shit ton of links and articles and videos in the bottom bar for you to go and look at and research yourself. If you live in Colorado, I recommend you vote no on Prop 62. This legislation needs to be stamped out. It is completely insane that we would put literally the life of a cluster of cells in front of the mental, the physical and the emotional health of the woman carrying it. This needs to be stopped.